Hi guys, it's your girl Valentina and welcome to my African hood vlog. I am going to take you around this interesting and notorious hood in Namibia. So again, welcome to my African hood vlog. I hope you enjoy this African ghetto video. I hope nobody takes offense in that. In this video, we are driving around to our final destination in Havana. Havana is probably the worst or one of the worst ghetto areas or hood areas in Windhoek, Namibia. So right now, as you can see, we are just driving in Katutura, Windhoek, Namibia. For those who may not know, Windhoek is the capital city of Namibia. Namibia is a country located in southern Africa. It is bordered by South Africa in the south, Angola in the north, Botswana and Zambia on the east, and on the west is the Atlantic Ocean. Namibia is a very beautiful country, and when you get a chance, please do visit. As some of you may know or may have seen, I did put up a lot of videos about Namibia before, of me in the capital city of Namibia, and now I am in Katutura. So I want to show you guys different sides of living in Africa and Namibia. We have cities, modern cities, just like Washington DC, half of New York. Yeah, we have good modern cities basically where people live nice, comfortable lives. But we also have the hood and the ghetto, just like any other countries in the world. You always have the good and the bad. Not everybody lives fancy in a rich, nice area. So same thing in Africa and in Namibia. You have people living nice and rich, comfortable lives. And then you have people living poor, ghetto lives, you know. So this is not just unique to Namibia, it's unique to also America. I live in the United States. I live in Washington, D.C. And Washington, D.C. has a lot of hoods too. You know, America has rich areas and poor areas. So does Africa. So you guys watching this, don't think, oh my gosh, that Africa, it looks so poor. Guys, this is one side of Africa. Okay, this is the hood of Africa. Okay, but if you go back and see my other videos, I showed you the other side of Africa where the middle class and the rich live. Okay, so right now I'm showing the poor side of Africa or Namibia, where the poor people live, the hood or the ghetto as you may want to call it. All right, moving on. As I mentioned earlier, we are in Windhoek, the capital city of Namibia, but right now we are in Katutura. Katutura is an area of Windhoek. It's an area just outside of Windhoek. It's called a township area, where black people were forced to move to during the Apartheid era in Namibia. So Katutura is a township area in Namibia, just like Soweto in South Africa. For those of you who don't know what apartheid is, apartheid was a racist segregation system in Namibia, in South Africa, where black people were not allowed to live near white people, and where black people needed permission from the white apartheid government to move around their country. Apartheid was a brutal regime that treated black people as less than human. Apartheid in Namibia ended when the country became independent from South Africa on March 21st, 1990. But unfortunately, some black people still live below the poverty line in Namibia, even after apartheid ended a long time ago. Some black people have been heard saying that their lives were much better off under the apartheid system. But I don't know if they really mean that or they are just saying that out of frustration because they expected the black Namibian government to have done a lot better than the apartheid government. I can understand their frustration though, because Namibia is a big country with a lot of natural resources and a very small population. Namibia is one of Africa's richest countries, and Namibia is one of the countries in Africa that's actually doing very well. Namibia has a very good reputation in Africa. The country only has 2.5 million people, so it's mind-boggling to many people as to why the Namibian government hasn't been able to improve the lives of all its small-sized citizens since independence from apartheid. I mean, with a population that small and the vast land of the country and its resources, you would think that almost everyone in Namibia will be living comfortably. But that's not the case. Maybe someone watching this can help it make sense to the rest of us. Because even to me, it doesn't make any sense how a country such as Namibia, a country that is doing so well, with a small population, cannot take care of all its citizens. Only 2.5 million people. I don't understand how a lot of Namibians are still living in poverty. So unfortunately, this is a site of one of the poorest communities in Namibia called Katutura, where a lot of the Black Namibians live. It's, watching that, I'm sure some of you are probably feeling sad and hopeless. And I know people always say, oh no, you cannot rely on your government to do everything for you. But people vote for the government to help them, and you can't expect everybody to do what the government is supposed to do. Like during election time, the government campaigns promising people a better life, right? And then when the government wins, they want to turn around and say, oh no, you cannot expect the government to do everything for you. We understand that, but the people voted for you based on your promises to improve their lives. And plus, you have all the resources, the people do not. So the people can only do so much, but the government is supposed to do a lot more. Wouldn't you agree? It's very unfortunate, honestly, how things have turned out for Namibians after apartheid. I've been to Namibia many times. I wasn't born always in Namibia, but my parents are Namibian. And I am proud of what the Namibian government has done on the most part, but I still think a lot could be done to improve the lives of more Namibians, especially with a small population. So I don't want people watching this and think that I'm bashing Namibian government. I'm not. I'm a supporter of the government sometimes. Sometimes I'm not, because I get really disappointed. But I still remain a member of the party that I was born into, But I will speak up when I see injustice, because I'm just one of those people, I'm not afraid to use my voice to raise concerns. And I was just in Namibia a few months ago, and people are hurting, people are hungry, people want a better life, And also the people themselves, they have also a little blame to carry, because, they do vote for this government to take care of them, and they keep doing it over and over. And then still turn around and cry that the government is not doing enough for them, but they're not doing anything about it, It's just very unfortunate. It's really, really unfortunate. So when I was in Namibia, I did speak to people who live in some of these hood areas, and I'll feature their interviews. And I did also get a tour of the actual homes where they live, and I'll show you guys that. If I don't show it in this video, I'll show you in the next video, because I don't want to make this video too long, because I know that not everybody has a long attention span. But I will speak to some of the residents of Katutura, Havana area, which is probably the most hood area in Windhoek. And also, guys, for those of you who need a little more background information on Katutura, I did do a video a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, about Katutura and the history of Katutura. But I guess I can also tell you a little bit more about Katutura in this video, so that you don't go back to the other video. But also, I still encourage you to go back and watch the other video, so you can also see some areas that I'm not going to show you in this video, because this video is totally a new, totally different area. Because this video will focus on Havana, which is probably the biggest hood in Windhoek, Katutura area, or maybe the whole of Namibia. Maybe, it might be the hoodest area in Namibia. If you know for sure or not, please leave a comment below and tell us why is the most dangerous and the biggest hood in Namibia. It has to be Havana. That's what I heard. Havana, where we are going right now. Okay, so just a little bit of history about Katutura. Like I mentioned before in the previous video, Katutura is a place where Black people were forced to leave. They did not want to live there. Katutura means the place where people do not want to live. It's an Ochero word. Ochero is one of Namibia's languages. Katutura is a township, like I mentioned before, and it was created in 1961 following the forced removal of Windhoek's black population from the old location. So the old location is basically an area in Windhoek that was close to where white people lived. So white people were not comfortable being too close to black people, so they had to move black people further away from them, so they won't be too close. So black people were moved from their comfortable homes in the old location to Katutura, which was far away, And then this new location meant that black people had to walk even further to get to work in the area where white people lived. And also black people had to walk further, not just for work, for also to go shopping, because all the good stores and the good malls were in the city where the white people lived, so they had to walk further. So they pretty much had to walk further for everything once they were moved, and their new location was not the best living area. And also the transportation, of course, was not that good either, because the government, the Apartheid government provided the buses, but the buses were not as regular. Sometimes you have to wait for hours before the bus came. So most of them just walked. Imagine walking for so long. Some of them on empty stomach. Some of them didn't get back home until it's really, really late. So it was very sad what happened to black people during the apartheid era in Namibia. Also, economically, black residents were worse off after the move, because now they had to pay rent to the municipality, and they needed a bus, like I said before, to reach their workplaces in town, which is far from where they are now living. So following the protest and an effective boycott of the municipal services by the main location residents, the police opened fire on the protesters, who were protesting everything that was happening with the move and all those things. So on December 10th, 1959, 11 black Namibians were killed during that protest, and 44 of them were wounded. This event is known as the All Location Uprising, and today in Namibia, December 10th is considered the Human Rights Day. So that's a public holiday in Namibia, celebrating their lives. May their souls continue to rest in peace. And moving on, as I mentioned earlier, I did do a previous video, and in that video about Katutura, I also mentioned that Katutura also has 2 different sides, or maybe 3 different sides. Not everybody in Katutura lives lives below the poverty line. Some houses in Katutura are really nice and modern. Not all of them are like shacks or tin houses. So this area is just it's the hood. It's like the most ghetto area in Katutura, but you can go to some parts in Katutura where you have nice houses with brick houses with electricity and running water. So not all of Katutura looks like this. So if you want to see the other side of Katutura, look at my previous video where you see the other side of Katutura where people live in proper housing. But again, this is the hood, meaning everybody here lives, almost everybody lives in tin homes or shacks with no running water, no electricity. So this area is basically called an informal settlement. So the people that live here are considered living there illegally. Like this is considered illegal setup in Namibia. And every now and then the government comes and just destroys these homes. Because it's considered illegal occupancy. And then as you see in my future, in the video that I'm going to put up next, where I speak to some of the people who live here, some of them are not allowed to build. They're not allowed to build like brick houses because, again, they're living there illegally. It's an illegal informal settlement. So even if they wanted to put up like a nice brick house, they cannot. And they can afford to go to an area where they can build a brick house. So it's a really sad affair of living situation in Namibia. And I know, like right now, like I said, we're just driving around. We are going to a location. We are still in the hood, but we are not in the hood. All right. Yeah, it's a ghetto. It's a very bad area. People are living below the poverty lines. You know, you can look at this market, this street market. You know, all these taxes. So you see a lot of these cars with numbers on them. Those are like taxis in Namibia. So if you go to Namibia and you see cars with big numbers on them, those are taxis. You can get one of those and you take you wherever you want to go. They're pretty. They can be safe, but you gotta be careful. Namibians are not really violent people. If you go to Namibia to visit, you just have to watch your phone on the most. They will take your phone. Phones get stolen a lot in Namibia. I don't really hear too much about violence in Namibia, but it does happen. But if it's a tourist, you just have to watch your phone. Even as a regular Namibian, I know so many people in Namibia whose phones go missing like every week. They have a new phone because their phones get stolen. One time when I was in Namibia, I had my phone stolen 3 times in 1 week. Like, you don't even know how you can have it so secure and someone will just slide there and just take it. But now I've been very vigilant. Ever since I've been there for the last 3 or 4 visits, nobody has taken my phone. And during my last visit there, I was really worried that somebody was going to take my brand new S22 Ultra Plus, S22 Ultra Plus, yeah, Samsung Android phone. So, because this phone is nowhere in Namibia. Like when I went there, this phone was not anywhere in Africa. Anywhere in Africa, Namibia, this phone was not there. I was only with this phone, probably one of the few with this phone. And people were eyeing my phone, but I was like guarding my phone like my life depends on it. Because this is my vlog phone, is why I use this phone to do a lot of vlogging. And I couldn't afford to lose it. And I almost lost it when I was at the border of Angola and Namibia. Somebody came close to snatching this phone from me, but we almost had a fight. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Anyway, I hope those of you who are still watching, you enjoyed the video and the scenery. Well, not enjoying, but I hope, what's the proper word? You're taking it all in, driving and seeing, these different areas where people live. You just saw the street market where people sell food. People are walking around with their kids. It looks very peaceful, although they were living below the poverty line. But you know what I've noticed though? Sometimes the people with nothing or who seem like they have nothing, they are the happiest people, because they don't have, they are poor, but they're also rich, Because I think there are different sides to poverty. You have poverty ways like economically you are poor, but as far as your life, you are rich because you live in you are at peace. Your life is of quality. You have love, you have joy, and all those things. Because sometimes you have rich people who are like living in poverty because their soul is not at peace. So they are not happy. They are not joyful. They don't have people who love them around. But then they have all the money. So it's like, So, but it's nice to have a balance though. It's nice to have money to live comfortably. And it's nice to have also like peace of mind. So that way you can sleep peacefully at night. Because a peace of mind is everything. But you also need money to be able to have that peace of mind. Because if you don't have money to survive on, to pay your rent, to buy your food, your peace of mind can also be affected, right? So it's just nice to be able to strike that comfortable balance where your basic needs in life are met: shelter, food, clothing, and then the peace of mind. That's also a basic need. I feel like peace of mind should be a basic need, because if you don't have your peace of mind and your freedom, you pretty much don't have anything. That's my personal motto in life. I like to strike that balance. I don't want to have too much where it would be a headache, and I don't have too little where it would be a headache. I just want to be in a happy middle where I'm able to survive and I'm happy. I don't want to sacrifice all my happiness and my freedom. So anyway, guys, and I know that you've noticed in this video that Namibia still remains clean. Even in the poorest of the poorest areas, it's still clean. Now, Namibians are very clean people. We like to be clean, and we like places to be very hygienic, We don't like too much mess. So even when people are living in poverty, they still live clean. And I'm sure you can tell from this video, you don't see too much trash around. That's one thing about Namibians. I have to hand it to them. They're very clean people. They like to be clean. Where they live, they like to be, at least to be decent. If it's not very, very clean, they don't like to have trash around. So, and we are almost at our destination. As you can see, we are turning the car. We are almost at our destination. We're in Havana. the hood area of Katutura, the biggest hood area in Katutura. And I'm sure you're probably wondering, hey, where is the TV hood stuff like the gangs, the weapons, all that stuff? Where is it? Why we're not seeing that? Well, it's daylight and there's no trouble. And people in Africa, Africans don't really like behave like that. Africans are like, even when they're poor, they're the most modest, well-behaving people, you know, on the most part, because, you know, it's like Africans have this thing of reputation, you know, even it's like they like to reflect on how they look to other people. So when you behave in a certain way, it reflects on you and your family. So you may not have a lot, but they still carry themselves in a very dignified way. So that's one thing you pick up a lot when you go to like these poor areas. People don't act too ratchet, you know. Yeah, there's some hood areas that are like really, really hood, but I feel like that's not really Namibia. Maybe South Africa. If you go to a certain area in South Africa, it's very hood, and they act like you. They're gonna beat you up in a heartbeat. I don't know, but I see that on TV. But Namibia, you don't have to worry about that so much. I feel like Namibian hoods are peaceful hoods. They're ghetto, they're poor, but they're not violent. But there are a few that are violent, maybe in some cultures. But on the most part, you can go to Namibian hood. As long as you don't go by yourself. If you're around other Namibians, other people that are with you, that are from the area or that are Namibians, you may be okay. But also, I know some Namibians who live in a city, they will not dare step a foot in the hood. Like me, I don't care. I go everywhere because I'm built different. So, and I like to be around people. I'm a people person. So, and believe it or not, but Katutura is actually one of my favorite places to hang out in Windhoek, Namibia, because the place is so full of life. Well, not the hood, like the deep hood, but I like to be like areas like Riwo Matongo. It's like non-stop music playing. People are so loud. There's always something going on. So it's action. It's very lively. So I like to be in places like that where I feel alive, you know. When I'm in town or in the city, it's very quiet. People don't really know their neighbors like that. But when I go to Katutura, oh yeah, the neighbors know each other. The kids are playing in the streets. It reminds me of real life, you know, and I like that. So I love going to Katutura and, you know, the parties, the loud music playing in the street, all types of hours. I like that, you know, because like I said, it gives me a sense of like life. So, all right, guys, and we are almost at our destination. So please look out for part 2, where we are going to go inside these tin houses, and we're going to talk to the people that live there. And yeah, we'll bring you some really interesting footage. So I hope you enjoy the journey getting here and seeing how Black Namibians live in Namibia. And hopefully the situation will improve with them so that they can at least live better lives. They can have better housing, because a lot of these homes, all these homes on the most part, they don't really have indoor plumbing. They don't have like electricity. They don't have running water. People have to go walk to a tap, a community tap, to fetch water. You will see that in the next video. So please stay tuned for part 2. And if you haven't already, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Share this video, and you know, if you ever happen to be in Namibia and you want to help out this community, please go to Havana or reach out to me or anybody, and then we can, you know, find ways that what we can do to help people that live in these communities. All right, it's gonna take a group of us to make a difference. Thanks for watching and supporting the channel. See you in the next video.